Hello everyone, it's me Jenny and welcome to this week's commentary where I respond to your comments, both typing wise, and then I talk about them, turning it into a conversation, because conversation is fun. And the reason for the low definition web camera and the poor quality audio is because I tend to ramble, and the last couple of commentaries have been relatively short, either because there haven't been a great deal of comments or because I've been knackered so I've rushed through it. So today's, I missed last week's commentary because it was a catch-up week and I just didn't have time to do it. So this is 2 weeks worth in one long video. So normally these videos are long. This one's probably going to be pretty dang long. I might have to take a break in the middle. I usually don't edit these, but we'll see how it goes. But yeah, hi. Let's crack on. So the first one, first video would be from Monday 2 weeks ago, so I think this would be Monday the 23rd of May, I think that's about right. Yeah, so it's a while ago. And what's weird is I think I responded to these comments already, so I don't know whether or not I accidentally included it in a previous commentary, but there we go. So the first video I'm going to talk about is To Play Another Day, which was my my response to having not filmed or done a live stream for gaming Monday. So I just filmed Bert standing around in a pack of cards. Ooh, I just pressed play. Sorry about that. And it's very cute. And Nathan Lau says he felt like Bert cheated, and I've actually responded twice to that, which I think meant that I ran out of connection after pressing enter. And possibly something weird happened with that. Oh no, I was responding to two different people. I was responding to Nathan Lyle and I was responding to KSJ Hawker94. Nathan Lyle said he thinks Bert cheated, which, given that he wasn't playing a game, I don't think it's possible, but it's possible that he might have done. And KSJ said he has an exceptional poker face, which is very, very true. He has the face of a tortoise. On to my Tuesday video, which was my Inception review, my first time watching Inception. KSJ said, good movie, good review. It was amazing to see what they can do with movie nowadays. Hiccup, great way to start the video. Brilliant. Just wait until they can pump up the 3D imagery directly into your brain. That would be an ultimate experience. That kind of concept creeps me out. The idea of being able to plug into a virtual reality or some version of that scenario. I can understand the appeal of it, but I don't know. Given that first-person shooters make me feel very, very nauseous, I don't think I'd work particularly well with 3D, and then plugging it into my brain would be interesting. I like the concept of shared dreamscapes, and that's like the point of the film is at, where it is the first time in, you know, the history of the human race, that you can basically create an image in your brain and then transfer it into something that moves and smells and talks, well, not smells, moves and looks and feels like what you dream, and then transfer that thought into another one. Like, language is a communication. Is when you think about it from the most basic level, you can take a concept that you've thought of in your brain and then using the muscles in your diaphragm and throat and tongue and teeth create a series of noises which then communicate that thought from your brain into noises which then someone else can absorb through their ears and then translate into their brain, so you could actually pass thought from one person to another. That's how language works. So when it comes to language, visuals, sound, and all those things coming together, it really is a very interesting time to live in that you can do that. You can basically communicate brain to brain. I think dream technology is really interesting, but the concept of how films work is fascinating to me. Yeah, so I don't know if I would like to be plugged into someone else's brain, but I like being able to see other people's thoughts in a non-invasive process. Obi Osborne said he thought it was a good one too. He watched Shutter Island. I think they came out the same year, and it was also very good. And I should check out What Dreams May Come with Robin Williams. I loved it back in the day, and it's kind of a different generation of Inception. I put it on my watch list. I think I remember watching a documentary or something on What Dreams May Come, but I haven't seen it. But yeah, I've also heard good things about Shutter Island, although there's a lot of from what I I've never seen Shutter Island, but I think I read a plot synopsis for it a long time ago. And the thing is, Shutter Island and Inception both deal with psychological issues. They both deal with the trauma of, spoiler alert, dead wives, and they both star Leonardo DiCaprio. So between the two of them, there's a lot of similarities that maybe like, might be enjoyable to compare and contrast, or might just feel slightly repetitive. I don't know. I felt like I've watched a lot of Leonardo DiCaprio films lately, and I've only watched 2, but that feels like I'm getting oversaturated with him, so I'll put Shutter Island on the lower part of the list, especially as I know I have been spoiled at some point, either by reading something about it or being told about it. But I might watch What Dreams May Come. Sounds interesting, and I feel like I remember some visuals from a documentary or something that I watched it from. I remember I've seen clips. Haserification says, have you ever watched the anime film Paprika? That says follow up the same sort of themes as that, and is similar but more crazy. Anime is very good at that. Anime is very good at introspectiveness. In fact, talking about the first comment on this video, KSJ's comment about being plugged into something. When you get to the end of Evangelion, that last couple of episodes is the biggest mindfuck ever. The concept of hive minds and evolution through hive minding. Like the last episode, I have no idea what's going on. Like I haven't rewatched that series since the first time I watched it. And the first time I watched it, I left going, I feel like my brain has been put through a blender. Yeah, anime is very good at doing introspectiveness. They're very good at doing very big concepts, both physically. They can do like the giant monster movie thing, but they can also do, you know, very intimate psychological things very well, because it's not bound by budget in the same way that normal films are. They really can do anything, and so that can be deep-seated psychological visuals, or it can be big monsters or epic fights or all those things. But yeah, similar but more crazy sounds like most animes. But yeah, I will put it on my to watch list. Chris says, really love this movie, great review, Jen. Yes, I have to say, Chris, your insistence that it's one of your favourite movies was probably one of the main reasons for me finally cracking down and watching it. Because I think of all the people, you're the one who was the most like, you haven't seen that? No, go watch it. So you don't sound anything like that. That was a ridiculous impression, but that was like me doing an impression of me. Anywho, moving on. But yes, I watched it partially because of your recommendation, also partially because I knew that I would want to watch it at some point, so I decided to watch it. Backsorn says he's watched Inception. Definitely a beautiful movie, but he doesn't really find it particularly memorable. He found it hard to get through because the plot was difficult to pay attention to, and he would like to watch it again to see whether or not his opinion has changed. It's the sort of sci-fi camp that he might enjoy, but he didn't find it that memorable. But was entertained by In Time, and loved my movie thoughts. Thank you. I haven't seen In Time. I have not heard anything about it. I feel like I recognise the name, but I can't remember who or what is in it, or if I've seen a trailer for it. I definitely enjoyed Inception. I think it's memorable in that it makes you think. It forces the audience to actually take control of their viewing experience. They have to actively, you know, process information as it comes up in order to keep up with it. And that can be taxing enough in some ways that it's not particularly memorable in terms of A to B's. But I think it's worth it for that experience. Not being patronised by the movie creators and actually, you know, watching it. Moving on to, this would have been my Wednesday video from 2 weeks ago, which is me talking to Jazz, my cat, who was going to bed and being very annoyed for me annoying him. Backson says, apparently we have the technology now to translate what a cat is saying when it meows, which is terrifying. And Mark says, yay kitty! And again, these were the ones that I'd already done responses to at some point, so I don't know if that's a repeat from my last commentary, but oh yeah, Jazz was not happy about me disturbing him, but he's so cute, I just felt like I had to. On my Thursday video, Trisha Hirschberger's dream job naked response, Lots of comments from Blue Sky Blackbird. So he asked about me learning to drive. I am learning to drive. I don't really know the specific system for the details for the process for UK learning to drive. Obviously, there's a provisional driving license that you have to get to begin with before you can start. I think you do have to do a certain number of lessons before you can take your test. And there's also the theory test. And I think probably, given that I'm a late learner, I will probably do advanced plus driving, which means you have to like drive in the dark and do all those sort of things. I don't know. I'll see how my budget's stretching at that point. But yeah, I am learning to drive. I am not hating it, which is more than I can say for my last couple of attempts of learning to drive pre-uni and just after getting back from uni. I hated it, whether it was because of my instructor or because of my state of the time. I hated learning to drive, and now I can get into a car and I'm actually like, I can do this. Like, I'm not loving it yet, but I'm not hating it, which is a vast improvement. He also says, don't care about the what ifs and what should have been, and the if onlys. The only thing you should choose from is that the one. Don't care about the what ifs, should haves, and if onlys. The only thing you choose for yourself, and that's the truth of the universe, which is a nice inspirational poster saying. Don't bother with the non-specific path you strive for, and rejoice in the fact that you can be happy in many things. Yeah, that's pretty much the state I'm in right now. And he also comments on the fact that I was very, very red for that because I had just gone on a run and it was bad. Obi Osborne says, comfort zone and the path of least resistance. You'll be surprised to know that half the people in the world are exactly the same. There are certain comfort in being slightly a jack of all trades, and people who are very driven can be kind of boring. And when there is too much ambition, there's a loss of the sense of self. And cyborgs waiting for the next chip upgrade, as it were. Personality is the key to life. Don't lose that. But I already know this. I do. Yeah, I find it like people who are very goal-driven. It is a positive thing and a negative thing depending on how extreme you manage that situation. I'm definitely. I have great respect for people who are very goal-driven. I really do. I envy them in many ways, but at the same time, I'm not going to feel bad about it anymore, because that's kind of my adjustment at the moment, is that I'm content, I'm working, I'm living. If there was a point where I was stagnating, then I'd be more worried about it. But at the point that I'm at, I'm content with where I am. Torsi also says the same sort of thing. People who only follow one subject are boring. But you know, I wouldn't necessarily say that people are boring just because they really are focused. Because when you focus on one specific field, that branches out into multiple fields. You know, people could say that about how much D&D I play, which is only once a week, but how much I talk about D&D maybe. Yeah, I don't think having a focus is a bad thing or makes anyone specifically boring. But at the same time, I'm not going to say it's a good thing. Everyone's different. There's a brilliant song which I'll have to find somewhere, which is, I think it was performed at VidCon 2014. I feel like it was definitely a YouTube thing. It was a song about, you know, we're all multiple things. And I don't think being driven by one goal makes you any less of a complex person, unless you spend all your time talking about that one thing. But, you know, everyone has their thing. I don't know if that made any sense at all. And adorably factor for the video 10. Yes, maybe I should not film after doing exercise. And don't do anything you hate just for money. And yeah, that's a good advice if ever I heard it. On my Friday video for that day, it was my D&D video, battles, multiclassing and cliffhangers. Raymond Smith said his comment isn't episode related, but he used to play a very, very tiny dwarf, and the DM used to try and kill him by making him go through deep water. Yeah, DMs who have an agenda are not great DMs. It's good to have DMs who have investment, or see the flaws in certain characters so that they can challenge the rest of the group to adapt to those flaws. Like if you're in a party of all all dark-sighted people except for one human, taking into account that as a challenge and actually challenging the group to come up with an alternative way of dealing with that light source problem. Or similarly, if the entire cast, if every character in a party is small, coming up with a way to balance things like strength checks, or adding complexity to a challenge based on character stats is very, very good choice when it's DM bias, so that it's just like, I don't like you, I want to kill you. That's not so good unless it's a murder hobo campaign, but still, DMs shouldn't try and kill their players. They should challenge their players but not try and kill them. If a player feels like it's being overly picked on, that's good. But yeah, that kind of sucks. But hopefully it made for some good character moments, and good team adaptions. I don't know. KSJ says, what is the bear cult initiation like? We didn't end up going in for the bear cult initiation. If you watch my next video on D&D, I said that we were rescued at the last minute by an NPC and some invisibility spells, so we never actually saw what the initiation process was like. But judging from the way that the town seemed to be under a mass influence, either through charm spell or extreme levels of charisma, more often than I would expect there was some sort of charm spell involved. But you can't say the truth, for sure. But there we go. Red Sky Blackbird had a couple of comments and said he had to stop at 5:05 because of spoiler alert. Yes, I will try and remember to put spoiler alerts in when I talk about Critical Role, because yeah, that's one of those things that I need to. And he couldn't bear to listen about the cultists. The story seemed pretty bare bones and it was unbearable. He should watch Persona 4, which is an anime where there's a character who starts off as a bear, as like a toy bear called Kuma, which means bear in Japanese, and he adds Kuma to the end of pretty much anything he says, which translated into English is basically all of the bear puns. Every single one. So like in Japanese it's, sentence ending in Kuma, which is, bear. But in English it's, oh gosh, I find it unbearable. It's unbelievable. Yeah. So yeah. I need to rewatch Persona 4. That was the first anime I ever watched, was Persona 4, because on the subject of D&D, it was the first ever RPG I was part of. My sister's boyfriend was running a Persona 4 RPG, and I played Rise, and that was my first ever RPG experience, and it was weird because it was obviously a homebrew campaign. I don't know which system he was using, but we ended up in like an alternative dimension, which was hell dimensions. Like it was an office, but each office was a different representation of a different layer of hell. So like Vanity, it was like this office space where people had their faces sewn on different places, and there was one which was like Gluttony, where it had just people eating each other. It was messed up. For my first time as an RPG experience, it was full-blown hell dimension stuff. But it was really, really fun, and I was basically given a character sheet and like, this is sort of who your character is. And yeah, I had a whale of a time, and it was a really good time. I didn't know it was based on an anime, and then after playing that, I watched the anime series, and that was the first anime I've watched. So yeah, my first ever RPG figured into my first ever watching of an anime, and watching anime helped me get into movie clubs and anime reviews, and then that got me into YouTube, which got me into Twitch, which got me into watching Critical Role, which got me into playing D&D, which got me here. Woohoo! But yeah, it was a good game. Yeah, like with playing D&D, that's the first time I played RPGs consistently. So that was my first ever RPG experience, and then my only other RPG experiences were in one of the one of the small British conventions that I go to every year, which I'm going to again this year, where we played one shots, which were very fun, but you don't really get that level of consistency. And I was too scared to find an actual RPG group for a long time. And I didn't have any RPG friends locally until I watched Critical Role, and I was like, God damn it, I want to play D&D, and I googled and I found a local group, and it's amazing and really fun. And rambling aside, words and stuff and things. Going on to my Sunday video from that week, so we've done 7 of the videos already. Hey! That is the Sunday video. We can review episode 7, Caught Up. Alarmingly, I'm still caught up. Today is Friday. Today is Friday's video. Hopefully, I don't know how long this video is going to be, but hopefully it won't take too long to upload. It is currently 8:30, so I've got approximately 3.5 hours. No, one sec, terrible at maths. Yeah, about 3.5 hours to get this uploaded in order to be on schedule. But to be honest, if I filmed it and if it's uploading and if it's up the next day, I call that a win. So yeah, woohoo! Yeah, moving on. Sunday Sum Up Week in Review, episode 7, Caught Up! Exclamation mark. Let's Go Blackbird says, when you start with hi, it's me, Jenny, he wants me to say something silly. I've thought about doing that before, but to be honest, mostly I just get in front of the camera and I'm like, let's do this! And I film and I just start with, hello, it's me, Jenny, which was mostly from when I was doing the movie clubs and the anime clubs and I didn't really have subscribers. It was mostly to be like hi editors to the SourceFed and DeFranco movie clubs, to be like, hi, it's me, Jenny, how you doing, editors? Thank you for hopefully featuring me, you never know. Commentry, which I did on a Sunday that week because I was so behind with everything. Oh gosh, why I'm awake. I think that was around, don't know what time I filmed that. I haven't rewatched the videos. I never rewatched my commentaries. I could say the most terrible thing ever, and I never rewatch it. But that particular night, I started, I think that was after D&D. So that was, you know, around, it would have been around 12:30, 1 o'clock at night. I was tired. But yeah, KSJ said, explain what biscuits are. American biscuits. They kind of sound like scones. But I don't know. I should try them at some point, but they just, I just don't know if they appeal to me. But he says it's the greatest invention after the fire used to bake them. So you can't get better praise than that, man. You just can't. But impressive. And Nathan Lyle says, Blimey O'Reilly, and he likes to correct people's grammar using incorrect grammar just to see if they notice, which, you know, is, I think, a slightly trollish thing to do, but I understand the sentiment. It's very, it's a good, I think it's a good way of getting little moments of entertainment every day, as long as it's not done within a professional setting or to the extreme of annoyance, but there we go. Moving on to my channel update. I'm working on it, catching up before June, which I did. Well, I best explained that I was working on things and I was trying to catch up. And it's another low definition web camera video because it's a low definition character video. And Nathan Lyle says, you said you'd see us soon, but do you ever really see us? We see you a drink, and you see our words, but do you actually see us? And KSJ says, maybe you guys should check my drawings. It's one of those things that when Phil used to do his streaming, he used to occasionally ask for people to send like hi Phil photos on Twitter, just so he had an idea of like who's actually watching and what they actually look like. Like, I feel like I might have to do that with some of you guys at some point, because to be honest with most of you, I have no concept of what you look like and what you sound like and all those sort of things. Like, as much as I chat to you every single week, you are basically just text on a screen with a recognizable series of letters that represent who you are. If we ever were to meet, you'd walk up and I'd be like, I don't know you. For lack of it, like, you know, it's the truth of the matter. So I don't know, like, I feel like it's a slightly unfair relationship. It's one of the reasons why I don't do Naked Truth Naked. It's an uneven relationship in that you can see me and hear me, and all those sort of things, but I can't see or hear you guys for the most part. Some of you do vlogs and stuff, but I can't be subscribed to every single one of you because that would be ridiculous. I already have way too many subscriptions. But yeah, I feel like it's a slightly uneven relationship, and maybe we should do something to even it out at some point. But in the meantime, hi, I guess. I see your names, but I don't know. I might have to do a challenge. I feel like I'm near some sort of benchmark in terms of videos. 1 second. So I'm on nearly, I think maybe when I don't know, if I get to 500 subscribers, which I haven't gone up in subscribers in almost this entire year. In fact, I've actually gone down subscribers this year. And if I were to go, I don't know, there's a couple of channel bookmarks that I'm at the moment. Like in terms of the number of videos I have online, I'm not quite. I don't think I'll get to 1,000 this year, but I think it'll be a close thing. I think my channel views might get to a nice benchmark relatively soon. I don't see me getting any more subscribers, but maybe when I get to some sort of benchmark of some kind, I will do some sort of, you know, show me your faces and I'll feature your faces type thing. I don't know. We shall see. Like, it's a very weird thing to think about benchmarks. I mean, I'm nearly at 300 followers on Twitter. I mean, there's a couple of benchmarks, but I feel like it's an unfair relationship, an uneven relationship, and I can't know all of you. It's kind of like being the new kid in school. Like, everyone might know my name pretty soon, but I'm not going to be able to remember everyone's names in my first week. It would kind of be like that sort of thing, where, like, you guys all know who I am because I do this, but I really don't know who most of you are and what you do, and I can remember 1 or 2 facts here and there, but I don't really have a psychological image of what you're like. So I don't know, I might do something with some sort of large community-based thing by and by, but I've got enough on my plate right now. Anyway, good golly, that was a long ramble. We're already half an hour in. Joy. Obi says, it's okay, don't stress yourself. There is enough of stress to go around the first world as it is. Yes, it is. And, you know, I try not to get stressed, but at the same time, I do have an expectation of myself. It's not pressure that you guys put on me for the most part, it's pressure that I put on myself in order to, you know, do all the things that I want to do. It's going to get dark soon, so hopefully I have plans before it gets too dark, or I might have to turn on a light. Yeah, it's, you know, 8:45, more or less. KSJ says it was a good weekend to be behind on due to the holiday in the United States. Lots of people not watching the internet because they're doing some backyard grilling, and happy Memorial Day. I'm assuming Memorial Day was Monday. It was actually interesting enough. That Monday was a bank holiday Monday in the UK, by sheer coincidence, as far as I'm aware. So we actually had a long weekend as well, although I didn't because I had to work. But there you go. Which gave me a chance to actually catch up a little bit. Not by much, but I managed it at the very least. But there we go. Moving on to my Daredevil Season 2 thoughts, etc. Gallifreyan Justice, it's been a while since I've seen your username. Hello. Said wonders if the comics will go as far as moving Matt to San Francisco. I don't think that's going to happen anytime soon. It's possible they might do like an homage episode where he spends an episode or two in San Francisco. But given that Jessica Jones is very specifically in Hell's Kitchen, I think Luke Cage is also going to be in Hell's Kitchen as well. I think there's also Moonlight or someone. There's like another, I can't remember there's another Netflix superhero on the agenda, and then all those characters are going to be in like a mini series or something. They're all part of the same interior Netflix cinematic universe, as it were. So I don't see it happening anytime soon, given that they're all very much committed to Hell's Kitchen. Like, one of the continuing themes of Daredevil is Daredevil's connection to Hell's Kitchen and to New York. And it's a continuous on-running theme. Like, it's one of the similarities between him and can't remember his name, the Kingpin guy. Like, the fact that they're so deeply ingrained into that town and that city. So yeah, I definitely, I don't see it happening, but it is possible. But to be honest, if it does happen, I think it'll be more like a haha joke for the fans, 1 or 2 episodes rather than a full move. Unless they want to retire the character, but I don't see that happening anytime soon because, you know, it's a very popular show. Obi says he instantly received the title of Awesomeness on this video because he spotted Hook in my DVD collection. Good review, woo! He saw season 1, but only the first half of season 2 so far. So do give me your thoughts when you finish season 2. I do like having a conversation, hence why I do it commentaries this way. Blimey. I wouldn't do it if I didn't enjoy the conversation, so do get back to me once you finish season 2. And you may remove that point of awesome when you watch my review for Hook. I think my thoughts on Hook is I watched half of it when I was a kid, or I watched a small amount of it when I was a kid, but didn't end up watching it until I was 21, I think. It's somewhere in my reviews from a few years ago. And it's not a negative review by any stretch of the imagination. It's just not, oh my god, that's the best thing ever, because I didn't grow up with it, and a lot of the humour is very American, and like, that was my frame of reference. There's a lot of things I really did enjoy about it, but there was some stuff that just kind of, but I have the DVD, so, you know, I've contributed to the awesomeness that other people enjoy more than me. But there we go. I'm being honest. You know, naked truths are not hard for me to do because for the most part I am very honest. But I'm very sorry. Feel free to check my videos and have a look at the review. I think I'll probably get some probably much needed hate. I think my like to dislike ratio is way too high. I need to get some negativity on my channel in order to make sure I'm still on the internet. I have hiccups. That's annoying. Anyway, I'm so close to finishing. Let's carry on. The hiccups will go away. Baxon says Foggy was definitely the MVP for this season, and he was more interested in everyone except Daredevil. Yeah, I feel like this was definitely one of the things that I really appreciated last season. Was it wasn't an ensemble thing. Like, even though your hero is Matthew Murdock, you can truly relate to the other characters around them. While Jessica Jones, they created slightly, like, they had more annoying characters, which is good because, you know, that's very true to life, where you have neighbours that actually annoy you because they're so obnoxious, and normal characters. With Daredevil, like, the background characters in the ensemble are so likeable and so interesting and so complex, that they are interesting regardless of whether or not Matt Murdock is conscious or not, which is a good thing. I don't think Matt Murdock was not interesting this season, but I definitely think Foggy had a phenomenal arc. I think Elektra was really interesting. I think the Punisher was fabulous. Frank Castle was really well done. Karen, the complexity in her character and like how they're building on it every season is 100% brilliant. And definitely Foggy, how he's really blossomed as a character in this season is something that I very much appreciate. On to my Panther versus Dinosaur PJ Days or Good Days video, which is just me filming Bert and Jazz in the garden together on a sunny day off. Red Sky Blackbird said it's a star off. If Bert wins, it's burned when it wins. He's more of a stoic type. I think he means stare off, and he thinks Bert will win. Yes, but Bert is, the thing with Bert is sometimes it takes him so long to blink that the cat will just blink. So I don't think it was a stare off, but I think it would have been an interesting stare off. It was definitely a stare down, if not a stare off. Although Bert would win because he doesn't give a monkeys. Well, Jazz would just run for the hills if he was timid, which he is. Torsi asked what kind of turtle he is. He is a tortoise, not a turtle, which is a mistake I've made so many times. But yes, he's a tortoise. I don't know what type he is or where he's from. As far as I know, he doesn't get much bigger than that. At the moment, he's about that big. His shell's about that big, and then with legs, he's about there. And apparently, he is the size of a 50p piece when he was born, which is so cute. Oh my god, that's cute. But yeah, I don't think he gets much bigger, and that's pretty much all I know about him. He's so alien and prehistoric to me. I find him endlessly fascinating. I can't not be fascinated with him. I just find him amazing. So I'm sad that he's gone back to his owners, but I'm sure we'll have him back once in a while. It's where his go-to pet sitting home. Yeah, I love Bert. He's so cute. And Nathan Larson points out that I spelled dinosaur wrong. Yes, I did. And I'm just going to let that lie. Why not? Because I might as well. Sometimes I make spelling mistakes, but that's just a fact of life. I was going to misspell both of them, I think, but I decided not to. On my Naked Truth on Ghostbusters, which was my Thursday video from last week, Raymond Smith says the day I posted my thoughts on the new Ghostbusters was the day they posted who will play Jane Bond, a female James Bond. And Gillian Anderson was top of the list. I've heard good things. I think I've seen her picture. Someone photoshopped her with the James Bond background. I think Gillian Anderson would make a fantastic Bond. And I feel like the problems that Bond has been experiencing in terms of do they go too campy, do they go too serious, and trying to find that equilibrium. They've got to a point with the franchise where it's such a messy concept. You can't please everyone because some people want the camp and the cheesy and some people want the serious and the stoic. And those two things don't mush. Like, the first couple of Daniel Craigs were perfect because they had the internal sort of in-jokes, but it was still a serious film. And as they've slowly progressed into more specific to the James Bond lore, they've got sillier and less good, for lack of a better term, and it's so full of internal references, which I recently watched a video essay on, that kind of take away from the experience such a strong wink to the people who know what's going on, and such an abstract concept to people who don't know what's going on. It's in a point where I don't know how they're going to. They've already done the big reboot, and then they slowly filtered that big reboot back into something more silly. I think the way to kind of reboot it again is to really shake up the casting of Bond, and I think Jane Bond would be a fascinating character because it's so rare that women can have sexual independence. Without them being seen in a very, very negative light. And I think having a female Bond and having that person be as promiscuous and womanizing, or I don't know how they deal with that gender, whether or not they make her a womanizer or just a serial, whether or not they'd keep her straight. And have her. It would be an interesting gender relationship, whether or not they change that. Either way, I find that would be a really fascinating way of bending gender stereotypes and really telling a new story, but being able to deal with the tropes that it will be a way of playing with the tropes without making it so, without having to reboot again, if that makes any sense. And I'd be really interested to see where it goes with it. I think Gillian Anderson would be a great choice because she's the right age, she's the right sort of level of classiness, for lack of a better term. She's got that presence and that control that Bond needs. I think it'll be really interesting. I'm not going to hold my breath for it by any stretch of the imagination. I feel like it's more likely we'll have a black James Bond before we get a female James Bond. But either way, it's a very fascinating concept to me, and something that I hadn't really thought about before I saw the listings, or before up until about a week ago. I hadn't really thought of the concept of female James Bond. And once it kind of sit in my brain, the more I thought about it, the more I was like, I would be interested to see that. I would really be fascinated to see where they can go with that concept and that character, and change the gender roles. It would be interesting to me. Anywho, KSJ says he's not impressed with the trailers, and doesn't think he'll bother seeing it. Spy was a funny movie, and he remembers thinking the gender change for Starbuck in Battlestar Galactica was a really big deal and came out really well. I think it comes down to more how the character is portrayed more than the gender. But in the case, he wonders if there'll be enough new story, and not just poor retread. I think when it comes to gender switching, it's a very complicated issue, because if we're talking about a Jane Bond or a female Starbuck or that sort of thing, it's a male character who's been actually switched into a female character. So you have that, the history's the same, the education is the same, all of those things are the same, except you're changing the gender. While if you're, in the case of Ghostbusters, it's not just a gender change, it's not female versions of those male characters, it's whole new characters who happen to be female. And I feel like that might be one of the reasons why people are so uncomfortable with it. I don't think you could take the male characters and just gender bend them. I think that wouldn't work, but actually introducing new female characters is perhaps too much of a bridge for classic viewers. If it was, maybe either new characters who were male or the same character, I feel like it's a big jump. Not only is it an entirely new world, for lack of a better term, it's entirely new genders and it's entirely new characters, and all of those new things being crammed into such a classic concept, I can imagine being quite jarring for people who are fans of the originals. As I said in my video, I'm not going to go out and see it just because there are women in it, because between the classic Ghostbusters lore and the female gender switch, of those two things, I'm more invested in the fact that there are now women in a leading role than I am in the Ghostbusters story, simply because I don't have that emotional connection to the Ghostbusters lore. The same with Batman vs Superman. The reason why I would go and see it would be for Wonder Woman, not because of Batman v Superman, which is a very unfair thing for me to say, but again, I don't have an emotional connection to Ghostbusters. I don't have an emotional connection to Batman v Superman. So when it comes to those things, you kind of got to have a reasonable interest in both. You've got to have a reasonable interest in the story and a reasonable interest in the concept of that gender switch. If you're only really invested in one, then it's probably going to be a relatively uncomfortable watch. So yeah, I'm probably not going to go see that film. It's not because of the gender switch, it's because I'm not interested in the franchise itself. Whew. Round and round we go. Let's move on to that Jane's Wisdom, who I don't think I've seen your username before, so hello. I'm sorry if I have seen it before, but I don't remember seeing it, so hi. Says he really enjoyed the video, so thank you. Nathan Lyle says he loved the original, which is why he's not watching the new one. There we go. I just don't think they can capture the magic in the same way. As I said, it's a very jarring thing to both change the genders and the story and the characters, and try and fit it into the same premise. It is very jarring, and I can truly understand why people are uncomfortable with that premise. And what did I do as a child? Because apparently I never saw a single movie ever. Yeah, that was the reason why I joined movie clubs, is because I realised that I hadn't watched a lot of films when I was growing up. I was very much in, like, I was one of those kids that enjoyed Teletubbies where they'd replay the same video again. I was one of those people that could get more, like, I could get more out of repeat viewing. Like, every time I watched something, I learned something new from something I'd already seen. I'd read books 3 times on average. I read it once just to read it, once as a skim read to recap, and once in detail again. And I'd get something new out of it every single time I read it. Pretty much every single book I've ever read, up until I was about 15, 16, I read 3 times. The Moonriders, which is a book that I read so many times when I was a teenager, literally has sand in it, and I dropped it in the bath, and I dropped it in the ocean because I take it on holiday. It's still in my school library as far as I know, but it's like there's sand embedded in the seam of that book because I read it again, and I get it out of the library and then I read it again, and I abuse that book so much. Angus Songs and Full Frontal Slogging, one of this book series that I read as a kid. I borrowed it from a friend and I abused that book so badly that my mum made me re-buy the book series for my friend so she could have some lovely new copies and I could keep the crappy old dog-eared ones. Yeah, like, I think that's a family trait. My mum has read almost every single Georgette Hare book at least 4 times. She can quote from pages. Harry Potter I've read more times than I can count. And same with films. Like, I watched the Disney films that I had when I was a kid were Sleeping Beauty, Snow White, Hercules, Mary Poppins, and there was a couple of others, but things like Bambi I didn't watch when I was a kid, Little Mermaid, Beauty and the Beast, Peter Pan. Like, there's a lot of Disney films that I didn't own, so I just didn't watch, or I didn't watch again and again. And, you know, my life was full when I was a kid. Like, I wasn't not doing anything, but, you know, I'd watch Austins, and I'd read books, and I'd listen to tapes. I listened to the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy tape more times than I can count. So I wasn't completely lacking in movie culture, but the films that I knew very, very well. And around when I was at the age of 7, when live action films was something that, like, my sister started watching, I was terrified of live action films because live action films meant there were real consequences and people could get in trouble. So it took a lot of persuasion to get me to watch those sort of things. So I loved Matilda, but it took me a lot of persuasion to watch it. I loved Inspector Gadget, the live action film starring Martin Broderick, but it took me a long time to persuade to watch it, and then I watched it again and again and again. I can remember being persuaded through hours of persuasion that The Parent Trap starring Lindsay Lohan was not scary, and eventually I watched it and I love it. It's one of my favourite childhood movies ever, but I can remember being persuaded to watch that film because I was so scared they'd get in trouble. So in hindsight is 2020, it was probably almost an actual phobia. In adult context, probably not, but there we go. Yeah, that was the thing. So I didn't watch a lot of movies as a kid, a lot of classic movies specifically, which was the reason why I watched Movie Club, and I started doing Movie Club, and I started doing, you know, reviews in general. Let me have a quick look, because this is commentary, and I can ramble on for as long as I physically can. I have over 700 videos on my YouTube channel now. It's a lot. It's a lot of a lot. Let's see how far back I can go into my YouTube history and see how many films I watched for the first time because of Movie Club. And some of it's going to go from memory. We'll see how it goes. Of the 700, oh my god, that's a lot of videos. I've been doing this for over 3 years now. Yeah, it's been a while. Okay, going. Nearly there. Loading. Oh, no, still going. Commentary, you guys. I can ramble on for as long as I like, and for some reason some of you watch it. I don't know why. Okay, everyone who's listening and not watching the audio, this is Jenny from the future, having just finished my commentary. This insert where I go through all of the videos all of my reviews and all the films that I watched for the first time ever for Movie Club goes on for a long, long time. If you would like to skip ahead, please go to 59 minutes, more or less. I'll put up a card at that point, and I'll put an annotation over this screen here with the timestamp to jump to. It goes on for a while. I have over 700 videos on my channel, and most of them are reviews. So please, if you were just listening to the audio right now and you don't have the time to listen to 15 minutes of me going through the movies that I'd never seen before, please do jump to that point. Link on screen now, link in the description, yeah, sorry. Thank you for watching. See you on the other side. So going from my first couple of videos, Ferris Bueller's Day Off I watched for the first time for Movie Club. Eric's $1 billion movie, oh god, why? Hugo I watched for the first time. Nacho Libre I had seen before. Cosmopolis I watched for the first time. The Grey I watched for the first time. Jeffrey Lives at Home was the first time. Jiro Dreams of Sushi was the first time. Let's have a quick look. Moving on to my next section. Confessions of a Dangerous Mind, first time viewing. The Truman Show, first time viewing. Butter, first time viewing. Top Gun, first time viewing. God Bless America, first time viewing. Who Framed Roger Rabbit, first time viewing. Into the Wild, first time viewing. Super, first time viewing. Platoon, first time viewing. Super Troopers, first time viewing. Escape from LA, first time viewing. Lars and the Real Girl, first time viewing. Kumare, first time viewing. Adventureland, first time viewing. Arrested Development, first time watching. End of Watch, first time viewing. Tucker and Dale vs. Evil, first time viewing. Big Fish, first time viewing. Pulp Fiction, first time viewing. League of Their Own, first time viewing. The Game, first time viewing. Man on the Moon, first time viewing. Okay. Bubblegum Crisis, Tokyo 2040, first time viewing. Full Metal Alchemist. Being John Malkovich. Black Butler. Event Horizon. The Frighteners. Sarah Kai. Carrie. Blood Plus. Scream. Yep, Scream was the first time viewing. Chobits. Katy Perry, Part of Me. There Will Be Blood. Samurai Champloo. Requiem for a Dream. The Thing. Dread. Soul Eater. Equilibrium. Trigun. Saved. Zack and Miri Make a Porno. The Untouchables. Like, these are all films that I watched for the first time. Lovelace, Sword Art Online, Ghostbusters, Blackfish, Land Before Time. First time I watched it was for Hairy Movie Club. Once Were Warriors, Naruto, Big Trouble in Little China, Attack on Titan, The Decoy Bride, Pirates and Caribbean I had seen before, Brick, my first time viewing, Can't Hardly Wait, Land of the Dead, I think Who Framed Roger Rabbit, the second time I reviewed it for the first time. The Losers, first time viewing. Once Bitten, first time viewing. Mary and Max, first time viewing. Let's see. Dot Hack Quantum. South Park, the movie. Red vs. Blue. Memento, first time watching Memento was for Movie Club. Blue Exorcist, Paranorman, first time watching that. Nagi no Asukara, the BFG I had seen before. I had seen that one before. The Hunt was my first time watching that. Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs, first time viewing. Todori no Sekikon. Log Horizon. Oh, so many. Trading Places, the first time I saw that. Bleach, yeah. Rocky Horror Picture Show. My first time watching that was for We Are Movie Club. Magi, Kingdom of Magic. The Artist, first time watching that. Birkenhair, first time watching that. Hard 8, my first time watching that. Lock, Stock and Two Smoking Barrels, my first time watching that. Franken Robot, first time watching that. Free It's Toby Swim Club, first time watching that. And that's pretty much only to my 100th video. On Back, first time watching that. Battle Royale, first time watching that. The Secret Life of Walter Mitty, first time watching that. Ooh, so many videos. And that's most of Hunter x Hunter. Elvira, Mistress of Darkness, first time watching that. Scary Movie, I think, was my second time. The first time I watched it was for Movie Club, but I watched it again for Harry Movie Club. Crocus Basketball, The Never-Ending Story. The first time I watched The Never-Ending Story was for Harry Movie Club. Pontypool, Rent. Yeah, my first time watching Rent was for We Are Movie Club. Last Action Hero, my first time watching that was for SourceFed Movie Club. Oh my gosh, this video has turned in just a list of things that I haven't seen. Oh, it's really bad. Fight Club, the first time I watched that was for Movie Club Strikes Back. Oh my gosh, this is really, really bad. No Game, No Life. Say I Love You. Gurren Lagann. Bambi. My first time ever watching Bambi was for Harry Movie Club. The Room, the first time we watching that was Movie Club Strikes Back. Donnie Darko, the first time I ever watched that was for Movie Club Strikes Back. Fairy Tale. The Frog Prince. Let's see. I think Harry Movie Club might have been my first time ever watching Independence Day. This is really bad. In hindsight, this is terrible. This is awful. I'm a terrible human being. This is why I need to do more movie reviews, because like it forces me to watch new things. Jurassic Park. I didn't watch it. The first time I watched it was when I was 18. So that was before I started doing movie reviews. That was my second time watching it. It was for Harry Movie Club. Oh my gosh, this is terrible. I am an awful human being. Hindsight is 2020. I'm terrible at this. Good golly. Oh gosh, Corpse Party. Dog Soldiers. Green Street Hooligans, that was all first time viewing. Jumanji! My first time watching Jumanji was for Movie Club Strikes Back. Scaramouche was the first time viewing. American History X was the first time viewing. Gone with the Wind, Movie Club Strikes Back, but chosen by Trisha Hirschberger, that was the first time viewing. Seven Psychopaths was the first time viewing. Teeth. Oh god. Philip DeFranco Movie Club. Oh no, Philip DeFranco special guest pick. Ooh, that was Movie Club Strikes Back. That's my first time seeing Teeth. Ye gods. Bottle Shock. That was my first time seeing that. Thank You for Smoking. My first time seeing that. The New Guy. My first time seeing that. Cinnamon Crystal was a new watch. Highlander was a new watch. Dramatical Murder was a first time watch. Samurai Cop was a first time watch. Let's see. I Am Santa Claus was a first time watch. How the Grinch Stole Christmas, that was a first time watch. The Lego Movie obviously was a first time watch because it had just come out at the time. Battle of Five Armies had just come out. The Dark Knight Returns I had seen before. The Adventures of Baron Munchausen, that was a new watch. Cube 2 was a new watch. Cube and Fury was a new watch. Mad Max Fury Road had just come out. Ernest Scared Stupid, first time viewing. Hocus Pocus, first time viewing. Nazis at the Centre of the Earth, first time viewing. Hustle and Flow, first time viewing. Wild Wild West, first time viewing. Oh my gosh. Oh gosh. This is actually terrifying. Seraphim Falls, first time viewing. The Quiet Man, first time viewing. Can't remember what that one is. I'm gonna have to rewatch some of these reviews. Oh my gosh, so many videos. I've done too many videos on the channel. Magic Kato was first time viewing. The Breakfast Club I'd seen before. Project Grizzly, first time viewing. I think I'm probably going to have to draw a line at this point because I'm still in March 2015 with The Bronx Tale, and it was still the first time viewing. Let's just say, after probably what is, I don't know, 15 minutes of me reeling off movies that I've reviewed in the last 3 years, probably 99% of them were first time viewing. I apologise. I'm going to put a link. I'm going to have to go through this video. I usually don't rewatch these videos. I'm going to have to put a link early on in this video with a thumbnail for a timestamp so that some of you don't have to watch that crap. Because, oh my gosh. It's a bad habit. It's such a bad habit of mine to just ramble for so long. Oh my god, rambling for so long. My sisters hate it when I list, because when I start listing, I just carry on listing and listing and listing and listing and listing. Oh, good golly. Yeah, so to answer your question, there is a lot of films that I haven't watched. What I was doing as a child was doing other things. On to my D&D show thing, episode 7, Battle Royale, Sauceped Style, and Dragons. Big Burger Tube said he enjoyed it when he was my age. He liked my hairstyle. I think I put my hair up in a bun while my hair was wet and it came out all curly. I've been having that a lot recently. One of the girls at work was like, "Do you curl your hair? Your hair is naturally curly." I'm like, "No, my hair is naturally pretty dang straight, but I wear my hair in a bun all day at work." And I get annoyed with it being down for too long. I'll often start videos with my hair perfectly in front of my ears and looking lovely, and then after about 5 minutes, there are birds going crazy outside my window. After about 5-10 minutes, I'll just loop them behind my ears, so I end up with big curls behind my ears. And I don't like having my hair down; it annoys me. But you know, I naturally just loop it up into a bun as my default setting. I do that without a hair tie, or just like I can tie in a knot on the back of my head. So I end up with big drill curls if I do that when my hair is wet. So that's why my hair was curly, that one. Yeah, D&D is so much fun. I love it so much. KSJ says, dragons and undead and bear cults, oh my. And thank you for complimenting me on my camouflage dress. My dress sort of matched my curtains. Floral designs. Something catch up, Dinner with Dinosaur, which is a video of Bert eating lettuce for, how long was it? 14 minutes, nearly 15 minutes of a tortoise eating some lettuce. It was very zen. I did actually, I stopped filming before he finished the lettuce. He did finish the lettuce about 5 minutes later, but I did stop filming, and then I took a nap. It was very, very therapeutic, very calming. It is getting very dark in here, and I can't bother to get up and turn on my light for the last 2 videos, so I'm going to light a candle. Yes, he did fall asleep for a couple of seconds in the middle of eating his lettuce, which was quite funny. He just his head lolled a bit. Don't know if that's going to make much difference to lighting, but there we go. And went back to finish Taking of Little Tokyo. Yes, he did. It was very cute. He's lovely. I love him to bits. Watching, listening. KSJ says watching, listen to Bert crunch through his lettuce. He lay on the couch right before bed. Was very effective, more effective than counting sheep. And maybe he'll dream that he's a turtle eating lettuce. And hand you another leaf. Yeah, it's something endlessly fascinating about Bert. I really genuinely, he's just endlessly fascinating. He's very cool. And Mona Grateful says very zen, and it was very zen. And for you, those of you who watched 15 minutes of a tortoise eating lettuce, you're the same as me. God bless your souls. Or whichever deity you support. May their blessings be upon you for being as crazy as I am for watching a tortoise. Something catch up. Speaking in tongues. Yeah, that's something I do occasionally when I'm really focused on paperwork or something. I just randomly start rattling off nonsense words. Gobbledygook is a very fun language to spiel off. It's very fun for D&D as well, especially when you've got to deal with non-real languages. So when you have to like speak Elven or Dwarven or Druidic, and you've got to just come up with something to say. So you'd be like, I said this, and then, like sometimes the DM's just like, okay, cool, you said that, and sometimes the DM is like, say it. So yeah, it's a good fun thing to be able to reel off. And yeah, Raymond Smith pointed out that there was closed captioning on that video. If you actually go to the closed captioning thing, it comes up with a very wonderful nonsense story about what I'm doing, which is worth clicking on for its own right. I found that fascinating, what the YouTube thought I was saying, which was brilliant. Nathan Lyle said, so you went to the ballet and you couldn't find a valet and then you parked your Chevrolet. And is that what I was trying to say? Good rhyming couplets, very well done. I did actually go to the ballet that week, so it's possible that that's what I was trying to say, but no, I was literally just spieling off random gobbledygook because that's what I do. There was an exercise that we used to do in drama class. We had to, every time the teacher clicked their fingers, you had to switch from gobbledygook to normal language. So you'd be like, so then you go left, and then and then you go right at the next pass, and then you just carry on, which was very fun to do. Torsi says, easy for me to say. Yes, it was. Well, it's very easy for me to say. It's very easy for me to spiel off. Kirsty said banana, which I'm assuming is a reference to Minions and their language, which is a very interesting, actually, dialectical study, because I think they're influenced through French. I think I've watched a commentary for Despicable Me and how they came up with the language of the Minions, which I think is really very interesting. Anyway, this is over an hour long. Oh my god. And it is very dark now. It is nearly 9:20. So thank you all for watching. Feel free to comment, and hopefully I'll talk about you guys next week. I'm going to go turn on the lights so I'm not staring at a screen. But yeah, thank you all for watching. Thank you all for putting up with me for over an hour. If you managed to make it all the way through a bloody fracking hour, about 20 minutes of me is reading off films that I didn't watch until the movie club, then you guys are crazy people. You are actually insane. And so today's secret word, for those of you who know what this is, the secret word is a word that you put in comments, either as subtly or as non-subtly as you like. So I know who has actually been insane enough to watch all the way to the end. So today's secret word of the day is... I can never come up with a good one. I always have that natural pause where I'm like, I don't know what to say. Mustard. Today's secret word of the day is mustard. You put that down in the comments, and I know you've watched all the way to the end. You can put it in as subtly as you like, or as on the nose as you like. But I think mustard is a pretty good challenge word, actually. I'd be interested to see if any of you can subtly word that into the conversation, make it all surreptitious and whatnot. But yeah, this is a long video. Feel free to comment, and I will hopefully see you guys next week on a Friday, actually up on time, and hopefully it won't be this long, and hopefully it won't involve me talking so much about movies that I haven't seen. But given that's the list of movies that I was watching for the first time ever, there is still a long list of movies that I haven't seen, including I think 3 biggies that I actually get called on so much. So they're on my to watch and review list. But yeah, there we go. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys all very soon. Bye guys. This is my candle. Actually, like, not kidding, this is like an actual bit of fire going on there. Like, I'm not kidding. I've actually got, you know, a jar of fire in my hand. Anyway, pyromania aside, thank you for watching, and bye again.